Magical Mystery School, and thank you for joining us for Astrology Class 32. The transits of Neptune, that big ball of gas out there. It's just, kind of just floating around out there. It rules the ocean. It's very subtle. We kind of have a hard time pinning Neptune down in general. So it's a very spiritual, psychic planet. So here we go. So Neptune takes, about 167 years. Remember, it's a generational or an outer planet. So we've got to use a telescope to be able to see it. And the personal planets are the, sun and moon up through Mars. And their, moon only takes 1 month to get around, and Mars takes 2 years. But here we're talking 167 years to get around. So you're probably not going to have a Neptune return, obviously. So, but Neptune does do its retrograde thing, very similar to Uranus in that it goes about 7 months, and then it'll be retrograde for about 5 months out of a year. So really about half the year it is retrograde. And again, it is so subtle that you may have a little bit more of a difficult time feeling it and noticing it. But the big thing I want to mention to you, Neptune as well as Pluto, and I think I discovered this on a Pluto transit, can hit you 5 times, not just 3 times. And that's, I think it was a Pluto transit, and I had my 3 hits, and I thought, oh, I'm done with this. And then I was looking at my ephemeris, and I was like, oh my God, I've got 2 more hits. So what's happening is, so here's the transiting planet, and here's the natal planet. So say it comes along, and it goes 1, station retrograde, 2, station direct, 3, station retrograde, 4, station direct, 5. Now also keep in mind that just like when we were talking about with Uranus, maybe it may not totally hit this planet, but it may come up and be very, very close. Or if it's, opposing or squaring or trine, it can be all these different aspects. And it may get up there, and if it gets up, especially 2 or 3 degrees away from a planet, you can call that an aspect. Because what it's doing typically, or what I've become aware of, is that it comes up, and this is usually its station point. Now, it may not hit that planet, but when it stations, it can literally sit there like for a month or 2. And it feels like it's, it's just moving like minutes a day. So just be prepared that you might have one of those where it just comes up and basically kisses it, goes away, and then you get 1, 2, 3, and off it goes. But you got that really super close connection there. So watch out for those too. Those can kind of sneak up on you also. Okay, so Neptune spends about 14 years in a sign. So it's going to be spending about 14 years in one of your houses. Of course, that can be different. So can be a little bit longer or shorter. And just remember, Neptune is going to really get you in touch with your spirituality. You're not going to notice it so much in the 3D outer world out there, but you will notice it on the inside. I actually feel like Neptune sort of gives you a veil. People have talked about that as like having rose-colored glasses on. Or, just having this gossamer, or like you're underwater and you're trying to move through the world and, underwater. So it can be kind of difficult that way, but it does give you a very elevated sense of idealism. It can be, you can really connect into beauty and aesthetics. And like I said, some people really find this is when they get when they get a real powerful Neptune transit, that can really catapult them into like a real spiritual connection, become more attuned to their psychic abilities and that sort of thing. And just in general, you're going to feel a lot more sensitive. So and that can be getting your feelings hurt, but it can also be, you just see somebody and you know what they're thinking or what they're feeling or something like that. So you become more, you become more sensitive into picking up on people. Now, one of the uncomfortable things with Neptune is you might be under, get some deceptions going on in your life. Like, I'm not sure if I mentioned this. Neptune is in Pisces right now, and that makes it really, really strong. And Neptune and Pisces both rule like media, Hollywood, that kind of thing. So in our media, we may be sensing that there's a lot of deception going on there, or what's for entertainment and what's real, that sort of thing. And I think we're all can attest to that these days. So watch out for that. And if you do feel like you're having any kind of like vague anxieties or anything like that, like you're having a hard time, you're feeling guilty about things, or like you're a martyr, and sometimes a Neptune transit may just be the example of, if you've got little kids, you just kind of got to give up your own life for a while and take care of those little kids. So you may have to make some sacrifices. Just make sure you don't get into that martyr stuff, so that and sometimes that's just the cycle that you're going through. And that's one of the reasons I used this book, is because to kind of to point this book out by Betty Lundstedt. She really integrates, like I was saying, in the early 40s, you get that Uranus opposed Uranus. Well, in your early 40s, you're also getting a Neptune square Neptune. So you may kind of feel like, by you get to your 40s, you're like, I didn't make a $2 million like I thought I would. You may kind of start to feel kind of disappointed in yourself a little bit. And you also have a Saturn opposition going on in those early 40s, which kind of makes you feel even maybe a little more down. So, so don't let yourself do something crazy like I was talking about with the Uranus. And if you do feel those kind of the down or negative parts of a Neptune transit, just remember to connect with your spirituality. This is a time to learn to meditate, to just do everything you can to start getting in touch with your spiritual self, your inner being, your soul, whatever you call it. The other thing you can do to really help with a Neptune transit is to be of service, to volunteer your time, give your money. What does it mean? Maybe it's to people, to animals, to the environment, to plants, whatever it is. But this is your time. One of the best uses of Neptune is to serve humanity on some level. And then finally, of course, that beautiful creative aesthetics. Maybe you learn how to sew, so you make all your own clothes, or you redecorate, or you do something beautiful for the planet, and take some art classes, and do a mural or something like that. So that spirituality, service, and creativity are three of the things that can really help you a lot with Neptune transit, if you feel like it's kind of getting so subtle and vague and you don't kind of know what's going on, because that can be difficult to pin down. And just remember too, it kind of depends on what planet it is, just in a general transiting. If Neptune is transiting Mars, and Mars is all about protecting our boundaries, and Neptune is all about dissolving our boundaries. So that's going to be an issue. That's going to be a much more difficult transit than Neptune transiting like Venus. And I think I said in the Jupiter talk that Jupiter was the higher octave of Venus. No, Venus and Jupiter are both benefics, whereas Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So that's a very, that can be, even if it's a square, it can be a much easier energy there. One of the other things that you might want to think about is just in general, if you feel like you're kind of losing your motivation and you find yourself wanting to take naps, sit in the hot tub, watch TV, things like that all the time, just remember the things that will get you excited and up and moving is that creativity, service, and spirituality. So this is your time to really get in touch with that. Okay, so I think that's about all I've got to say about Neptune right now. I did want to mention one more thing because someone asked me about this too, about the Saturn talk. And I was saying how every cycle things get easier and easier and better. And they were like, well, I know some people who spiraled down in life. They haven't spiraled up in life. And that is true. But let me just tell you, if you are watching this video right now, you obviously have, you've got a lot, you're very lighthearted, you've got a lot of whimsy in your heart and your being. You want to learn. I mean, why else would you be here? So just remember that when I say you're lighthearted, I mean you actually have light in your heart. So just remember that if you're here watching this, you're putting good energy out. You've got to be. I mean, I can't imagine a grumpy George watching these videos. So thank you so much for being here. And just remember to like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy these classes. And next time we'll talk about Pluto. Boop, 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 boop. And we're kind of getting to the end. So we'll see what happens. All right. Bye-bye, guys. See you next time. Bye.